when will come,
Okay, but because this is live now, that's why we have to start at a correct time. Otherwise, okay. So I was discussing exactly why we have to study physiography first, because of the fact that physiography determines the climatic conditions. Okay. How actually this determines climatic condition? Because you may have studied that whenever this monsoon enters into India, then this Arabian branch of monsoon, it collides with the Western Ghat. So it collides with the Western Ghat, and after having collided, it actually this wind, which is which contains lot of moisture, get uplifted because of the Western Ghat. So whenever these wind will get uplifted, that will lead to the huge precipitation on the west side of this Western Ghat. Okay. And by the time these winds will come to this side, leeward side, then they would have lost their moisture. So that's why you will find that on the western side of the Western Ghat you have a huge amount of rainfall, and on the eastern side of the Western Ghat, this area is known as leeward side. This is a dry area, because by the time this wind will come to this place, they would have already lost their moisture. In the same manner, if you will see this Bay of Bengal branch, when it enters into the Gangetic plain, then one branch actually collide with this. Here these some hills in this Meghalaya, and because these branch get trapped between these hills, that lead to the huge amount of precipitation in this part. Okay. So that's how you can see that this physiography basically determine the precipitation pattern of the country. And as this Bay of Bengal branch moves towards the northwest, then you will find that the precipitation keep on getting decreased as you move towards the northwest. So that's why physiography has to be studied first, because physiography determines the climatic condition. Then the second thing that we have to study, that is the climate. Okay. So if you know the climatic condition of the whole of the country, basically the two main component of the climate, the temperature and precipitation. Okay. If you know the climatic condition, then the third thing is what is soil or vegetation you can study. Why? Because this soil or vegetation is nothing but they are reflection of the kind of climatic condition prevailing in particular area. Okay. So how you can actually understand with the help of climatic condition, if you know, see, I am not talking about just India, I am talking about the world also. Suppose if you are studying the world geography, then also you have to study first what is physiography of the whole of the world. Okay, because physiography determines the climatic condition. Then second thing is climate. And if you know the climatic condition of the whole of the world, then you don't have to mug up anything. You can on the basis of the climatic condition itself, you can easily determine what kind of soil is likely to be found in that particular place, or what kind of vegetation is likely to be found in that particular place, because both soil as well as vegetation is a reflection of the climatic condition prevailing in that particular area. Okay. I will let you know exactly how with the help of climatic condition you can easily also, you can not only just know what kind of soil will be found, but also you can understand what will be the characteristic of the soil. I will just let you know how with the help of climatic condition you can easily make it out what type of soil is likely to be found in that place. Okay, if you know the climatic condition of that particular area. Okay. How you can know with the help of, suppose if you know the precipitation pattern, like for example, if you talk about India, okay, in India, if you, in the soil, you know two types of, because see, there are two ways of studying geography. One way of studying geography is that you take up the whole of the India and you keep on mugging up, you know, different type of vegetation, different type of soil, different type of cropping pattern, okay, throughout the country. You can keep on mugging up, but you, after maybe some period of time, you are likely to forget everything, because you don't know exactly why this kind of soil is found. Okay, but if you know that why actually this kind of vegetation or this kind of soil is found in that particular place, then you are not going to forget it easily. And generally these days the most of the question being asked in the UPSC is based upon your knowledge about why exactly some phenomena exist in that particular place, not exactly what exists. Okay. So suppose if you talk about the in generally you have to understand in the soil the two types of process takes place in the soil. Okay. If the precipitation exceed, see I will let you know means how with the help of climatic condition you can easily understand the soil of the world also. Okay. Generally in the soil two types of phenomena takes place. Two types of process. Okay. If the precipitation is more than evaporation, okay, if in any places throughout the world, if the precipitation is more than evaporation, then all the material will move towards this is called as leaching, move towards the downward. Okay. So generally in the soil you will find you have a bases. What is this bases? Sodium, potassium, calcium, all these are known as bases. Okay. And they are very fine, their texture is very fine. Okay. So understand, so if anywhere in the world if the precipitation is more than evaporation, then these bases will move downwards. Okay. So when these bases will move downward, then what type of soil it will become? It will become acidic. Okay. It will become acidic. Why it will become acidic? Because all the bases has moved downwards. Okay. So that's why when bases has moved downwards, then the soil will become acidic. Because I told you bases are very fine, their texture is very fine. So when all the fine material will be moved downwards, then the texture of the soil will become coarser, because coarser particle will be left behind. Okay. And when the bases has been leached down, then the soil will become less fertile, because soil fertility depends upon how much of bases are present. So can you understand means how with the help of just climatic condition you have understood how many things about the soil, that if the precipitation is more than evaporation, then the soil will become always acidic. So you will find all along the equator you will find acidic type of soil. Okay. The texture of the soil will become coarser, and soil will become less fertile. Okay. So just on the basis of climatic condition you can understand easily. Then another process we will talk about, another process is like if you just think about opposite process, like if the evaporation is more than precipitation, okay, anywhere throughout the world or throughout the India, if anywhere the evaporation is more than precipitation, then the opposite process will take place. So through capillary action all the bases will come onto the surface. All the bases will come onto the surface, because evaporation is more than precipitation. So that's why through capillary action all the bases will come onto the surface. That's why the soil will become what type of? Basic. So wherever throughout the world if the evaporation is more than precipitation, then soil will be always basic. Because I told you that bases are very fine in size, their texture is very fine. So that's why the texture of the soil will become what type of soil will become? Texture, it will become fine texture. Okay. And when the texture will become fine, then it can be also waterlogged, like for example black soil. Okay, waterlogging can take place in this type of soil. On the contrary, when we talked about the soil that has a coarser texture, where the precipitations were more than evaporation, then this will be well drained soil, because the texture will be like sand. Sand has a coarser texture. So when the texture will become coarser, then soil will be well drained soil. Okay. So in this case, the soil will become basic, it will become, the texture of the soil will be fine, it will be fertile because most of the bases are present on the surface, and it will be prone to getting waterlogged. So understood, only on the basis of climatic condition you can easily understand what type of soil is likely to be found in any particular area. So that's why geography, there is two ways I told you, either you can mug up whole of the soil and vegetation of the whole of the world, okay, or you can understand that why actually you just put your finger anywhere, and if you know the climatic condition of that particular place, then easily you can make it out what type of soil will be found in that place. Okay. In the same manner, we will also talk about the vegetation, because vegetation also is a reflection of climatic condition, prevailing in any area. Not only you can easily make it out on the basis of the climatic condition of any area, what type of vegetation is likely to be found, but at the same time you can also understand the different type of adaptation that the plant actually has adopted in order to survive in that kind of climatic conditions. Okay. So we will talk about when we will discuss about the biomes also, then we will discuss exactly why these biomes has a different type of characteristics. Okay. Like for example, you can understand like in equatorial area where the precipitation is very high and temperature is also high, nutrient cycle in these areas are also very fast. So that's why you will find in this area very big leaf size. Leaf size is very big, stomata is also very big. Why? Because of heavy precipitation they have to evapotranspire more amount of water through these stomata. On the contrary, if you see to the in a desert area, xerophytic, where you will find xerophytic plant, you will find very small leaf size, okay, and widespread root system, so that they can accumulate water from the maximum amount of area. Okay. So whenever we will talk about, so understand the climatic condition of the world will actually act as a basis on which you can understand whole of the geography. Okay, you can comprehend whole of the geography. Why I am saying so? Why I am asking you to follow this order? Because see, soil, vegetation, then if you see the cropping pattern of the world, then it is not that you can grow any crop anywhere. Okay. Whole of the cropping pattern, if you will understand, you will find that any crop can be grown only when the climatic condition for that particular crop is favorable. Like for example in India, you will find that all the coastal area, Kerala and Karnataka, this coastal area where you have a huge amount of precipitation, you will find rice in this place. Here you will find whole of the West Bengal, then Bihar and eastern UP. Till eastern UP we will find rice. Why? Because in this area around 127 degrees centimeter of rainfall is available in this area. But from western UP, Punjab, Haryana, you will find as the rainfall decreases, then you will find that in this area these are favorable for wheat. So if you understand the climatic condition of the whole of the world, then easily you can understand. You don't have to mug up. Suppose even if you examination, if you don't remember, but if you know the climatic condition and the requirement of particular type of crop, then easily you can make it out of the options that what is likely to be the right answer. Understand? Even all the industry and type of human geography also depends upon the climatic condition. Okay. This concept also in geography is known as determinism. Okay. Except some places which we have to remember only. Okay. So even if you talk about industry, okay, then you will find that most of the industry is either based upon the agricultural product or they are based upon the minerals. So minerals we cannot help it, otherwise you will have to study whole of the geology. Okay. So minerals you will have to remember, you have to mug up, but if you will find that industry, like for example sugarcane industry in India, where exactly sugarcane is located, wherever the sugarcane is grown, the industry also will be found close to this sugarcane growing areas. Okay. In the world, if you will see all the paper and pulp industry, where exactly it is likely to be found? Only in those places where the conifer forest is found. Okay. Like Norway, Sweden, Finland. So understand what I am trying to say, that if you first what you have to do, you have to study whole of the physiography of India as well as the physiography of world. Then you understand the climatic condition. Okay. And then you have to study soil, then vegetation, then you have what is called as then you have industry. Okay. Cropping pattern, and even the population distribution also depends upon these climatic factors. Okay, so this is the order that we have to follow. So when we will start the classes of geography, then we will follow the same type of order. Okay. But these classes also for the ecology and ecosystem, that ecology, that's why we will talk about little bit about the ecosystem as well. Okay. So before we talk about ecosystem, you have to understand what exactly system is. Okay. Do you know what system is?
Any particular area or thing in which something, some function happening.
System, basically system is a set of component. Okay. System, any system is a set of component which are interlinked with each other. Okay. Like for example, you can also say urban system. Okay. Urban system means you have a different city and these cities are linked with another city through the roads and railways. So every system is a set of components. So in an urban system, Delhi is also one component. Okay. Hyderabad is another component. And all these components are interlinked with each other. And if you bring about any kind of change in one component, this change is going to affect the another component as well. Okay. Like for example, if suppose if some kind of drought takes place in Jaipur, then do you think that the Delhi is also going to get affected by this drought? Because it's possible that the people may start migrating from the Jaipur towards the Delhi. Okay. So system is a set of components. So you have a different components in any system, because before we talk about ecosystem, we have to understand what exactly system is, then only we can understand the ecosystem. So you have a different components, okay, in any system, and these components are interlinked with each other through the linkages. Okay. So every system has a component, these components are interlinked with each other, and if you bring about any kind of change in one component, that this change is going to affect the another component as well. Okay. The second thing about the system is system has some structure. Okay, structure. Structure means how these different components are arranged. This is called as structure, and it has a linkages. Component has a linkages. So ecosystem is also system. Ecosystem is also system, and there are many component of ecosystem. We will discuss these different components. Some are abiotic component or some are biotic component. Okay. So these biotic and abiotic component are interlinked with each other, and if you bring about any kind of change in any component, then whole of the ecosystem is going to get affected, because ecosystem is also system. Then what type of ecosystem is? System are also of three types. Okay. System are also of three types. The first type of system is called as closed system. Okay, what is closed system? In a closed system, only transfer of energy from the surrounding to the system or from the system to the surrounding can take place. Okay, but matter cannot be transferred. You can understand this with the help of one example. Suppose if you have one container filled with the water. Okay, packed container filled with the water. Okay, so if you fill this container with the warm water, okay, then because it is enclosed from all the side and it is made up of, suppose, what is iron. Okay, then steel, it is made up of steel, and if you fill this with the warm water and this container is enclosed from all the side, then what you will find that after some period of time the temperature of this water is going to get decreased, but the amount of water will remain the same in this container. It means what? That energy has transferred from the system to the surrounding. Okay, understood? So this is an example of closed system. Or if you give some heat energy, then you will find that the temperature of this water will increase, but the amount of water will remain the same. So this is an example of closed system. Then you have a isolated system. Okay, in isolated system, neither the energy nor the matter can be transferred from the system to the surrounding or from the surrounding to the system. Okay, but this kind of system is hardly found in the nature. Okay, so neither the energy can be transferred from the surrounding to the system or from the system to the surrounding, nor the matter can be transferred. Then you have a third type of system, that is called as open system. In an open system, both energy as well as matter can be transferred. Okay, so this you can understand with the help of one example. Like suppose this is a container made up of steel, and if you fill the water in this container, and suppose is the temperature of this water is 10 degree centigrade. Okay, and if you start giving heat energy, then the temperature of this water is going to get increased. It will keep on increasing until it reaches to 100 degree centigrade. Okay, so once this temperature of this water will reach up till 100 degrees centigrade, then it will start getting evaporated. It will start getting evaporated, so lot of water will get evaporated, and after some period of time you will find that the amount of water also has gone on to get decreased in this container. So in this case, what exactly happening? The energy is also being transferred from surrounding to the system, and transfer of material is also taking place from the system to the surrounding. So in this type of system, open system, both the energy as well as matter can be transferred. Okay. After having understood this, suppose this you have any forest ecosystem. Okay, forest ecosystem you have. So in this ecosystem, energy is coming from the sun. Okay, energy is coming from the sun. Then matter is entering into this from where? From the soil, in the form of nutrients. So plant convert the solar energy into the what is carbohydrates through the photosynthesis. So energy is also entering and matter is also entering in this ecosystem. Okay. Then some of the energy is also going to go back to the atmosphere. How? Through the respiration. Whenever this plant will respire, then through the respiration lot of energy will be released back to the atmosphere, and some of these carbohydrates, whenever the herbivores will eat, then it will be transferred into the body of biomass of herbivores. Okay, but some amount of energy will be released because of the respiration of this plant. So energy is entering into this ecosystem and it is moving out of this system as well. Okay. In the same manner, whenever this plant will die, then they will be decomposed. They will be decomposed by bacteria, and again all the nutrients will come back to the soil. So you can understand that both the transfer of energy as well as matter is taking place in the ecosystem. That's why we consider ecosystem as an open system. So there are, as we discussed, that there is a component of ecosystem also. What are these component? These can be divided into two parts. One is abiotic component, another is biotic component. So what are the abiotic component? That is very easy, but only thing that I will discuss exactly how these are interlinked and how change in one component can lead to the change in other component. So abiotic component means first you have what is light. These things you know. Light is why it is required, because only in the presence of light, carbohydrates can be made by the plant. Okay. So that's why light. Then you have what is water. Water is required. Why? Because even in your body also, most of the part of your body contain water. So for all the kind of metabolic activities, water becomes very essential. Then you have a temperature. Temperature means, why temperature is required? Because for any chemical reaction to take place, you have to have some amount of temperature. That is the reason why below 5 degrees centigrade you won't find any what is flora. Okay, no plant can be found below 5 degrees centigrade. So because for any chemical reaction to take place, you have to have some temperature. Then you have what is gases. Gases like, for example, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, these things you must be knowing. This is very easy. Okay, carbon dioxide, why it is required? For photosynthesis you have to have a carbon dioxide. For respiration you require oxygen. Nitrogen take part in the nitrogen cycle. When this either through the bacteria or whenever lightning takes place, the nitrogen can get converted into nitrates. Okay, so nitrogen is required, all the gases. Then you have what is altitude. Altitude is also a biotic factor because it determines the flora and fauna. Because you may have observed that whenever you go up in the Himalayas, then how altitude determine the different type of vegetation. Vegetation keep on changing as you move up in the Himalaya, from the tropical deciduous forest on the foothills to the lichens and mosses on the top. Okay, so because altitude determine basically the temperature, that's why it determines the vegetation. Then you have a latitude also. Latitude also determines the what is vegetation, because you may have studied like at the equator you have a tropical evergreen rainforest, and as you move towards the north, then again the vegetation keep on changing. So these are the some